Okay, good morning, back on the farm again this week, and we have had a hellish week because everything stock-wise, well not quite everything, but nearly everything should have come in. Before I start though, if you haven't hit subscribe and rung the bell, please do so now. Every Sunday morning, 8:30. So, hellish week on the farm. We've had cattle to sort, we've been selling cattle, we've got stuff going in to Market Drayton Auction sale tomorrow. We've had JDC in, they've been in last minute to try and string us some lights up in the buildings down the bottom, which I'll get to in a second. We've had Stuart in doing more camera work. Wayne has been in doing a manifold. We've had the man, the myth, the legend. I'm not going to tell you who it is until next week, helping us out with the sheds because we hadn't got no time whatsoever left in our schedule this week to do any work on the two sheds. So we've had to just sort of draft in the big man, which we'll come to next week, to give us a chuck with that. But here on the farm, so first off, we've been selling. We've sold two again into Market Drayton Auction again this week. This was them two. They did pretty well actually. There was a blue, there was a limmy. Not too bad, not quite as good as last week, but still they weren't probably as good a stock as last week. So we're pleased with them still. And then really what we've been doing is a massive sort out now. So we've sort of weaned a ruck of calves off now and we've got them in one of the silage clamps. We've got cows with calves at foot now that we are carving up this end and we are moving down as they're coming. So we've had, I think 6 now. We've still got about 34 to do before Christmas. And then obviously we've got that 3-week lull until we start again, probably back end of January. By which point I'm hoping both them sheds at the bottom are done and obviously then we're moving into them ones. So we've got them in one clamp. And then in the other clamp, we've got all the cows that are due to calf after Christmas. So that's all 3 clamps filled with everything other than grass. Good job we didn't make it for last cut. These ones in here, we've moved these rounds from the top, we brought them down, and then we've got Umberto that we have unleashed out of this building, and he has now got himself about 20 nice new girlfriends. So he is happy as Larry up in the top shed. We've got Sam and Udo that we've just set into the bull pens. We've put them a couple of girlfriends each so they're not lonely and they can just keep plodding away, but at the same time we can sort of look after them a little bit more now, give them a bit more rest. And then Voma is presently behind you guys, but he's about to go to work in about a week's time when we've got a bit more shed space because I'm hoping to release the infill. Let's go have a look. Okay, so starting with the infill building, we have light. Thank you, Mr. Chubbyford. You have really got us out the shit here because I know I was a bit lastminute.com. We didn't know we were going to bring as many stock in as we were doing and fill in all the clamps. Ultimately, we needed the lights done and you got in and you got us out of the shit, so thank you. Stuart has also been in. We've got cameras and stuff dotted around, all the cameras on the other yard as well, which are massively helping out with our calving or seeing the cows before they calf. That is saving me getting out of bed 2 or 3 times a night, and Mark, so that's brilliant, thank you. And then really in here, what we've been doing, the workshop are mad busy at the minute trying to get that feed fence up for at least that side. We're going to concentrate on this afterwards just because they've got to go to the galv and we're flat out busy. So that side, we're going to get these feed fences done. The gates are made, they're just not sheeted yet. And if they're not back from galv in time for this time next week when we want to bring more stock in, because like I say, we've still got them 50 out there, what we're going to do is probably just put the 2 gates on and a temporary fence across there. Mark and I have put the water troughs in, so we are ready. But like I say, I don't really want to bring them in. If the weather will just hold for another week, week and a half, maybe 10 days, then we'll get these feed fences in and we've got another, whatever it is, 90 foot by 30 foot building there that we can start bringing them cows that are due to calf before Christmas into. So, down the bottom. So, silage clamp wise, in this one here now, like I say, we've got all of our cows that are pregnant and due, well, some before, some after Christmas. So they're all in there. They are really noisy at the minute because they've been separated from their calves, which are next door but one. So this one is where we're bringing our freshly calved cows and calves down to. So that was quite sparse at the minute because like I said, we've only got a handful. We did have a couple out in the field actually that weren't doing overly well, so we brought them into here as well. And then the final one is all the weaned calves in here. So we've actually separated all the bull calves out, so we've took them down and put them in the sheds around the corner. So in here is all of our heifer calves, and I think there is 2 steers in there as well. But apart from that, that is all of our own bred stock in here, and a very small handful of stuff that we bought in to add into that. I can't remember now. We moved that much stock in that many different places, but ultimately that's the bigger clamp, so that's where we've got the majority of the weaned animals. So we weaned the rest of them off today. There's nothing else left to go in there. We've still got some more to go in there, but like I say, we're getting to a stage where there's probably enough in there without releasing that next building. So these are now literally the world's noisiest animals, because I think the shape and size of the building as well is making it echo. And my walls in my house, as it turns out, aren't quite as soundproof as I thought they were. Other bits. Finchy and his team, they've laid a bit more concrete, so we've now started to work our way across the yard. Falls are working actually quite nice, so that's all working brilliantly. And obviously the handling facility, we've started to lay the concrete there because it's going to be easier for us to lay the concrete, or for Finchy, to lay the concrete over there while the back row panels are out of this building. So obviously we'll get that done and poured up to the building, then we can get the panels fitted to the building, and then we can start concentrating on getting that building done, because we're going to need that sooner rather than later. And last one on my list really is Mr. Bolton. Thank you very much. He has come in lastminute.com, a bit like JDC, and built me a nice sexy manifold over there. We've got to get water, which obviously you saw us doing the trenching a couple of weeks ago, and putting the water and the electricity in from the shed at the top all the way down and round. That's now in. When I looked at the wall space, I obviously want a sink there, I want an outside tap. We need some cupboards, I've got a staircase to put in, and we've got the crush. I didn't want to lose too much room doing it all in Alcathene, so I asked Mr. Bolton to come in and do us a manifold out of copper and make it all nice and sexy, and then we can box it all in and make sure it's not going to freeze up. So he's been in and done that and got us all live. That was a massive day on Saturday last weekend, which that's all in and done and working. And like I say, now really we're just hoping, I know we're in for a shit few days of weather, but hoping if we just hold out about another week, 10 days until we can get the rest of the bits done and we'll get the rest of the stock in. Because I don't want to trash the fields any more than we have. And one last thing before we go, a massive thank you to Mark, Ryan, Tom, Clitoris and Rob actually, because we have had a massive week trying to get all of this work done. We're there or thereabouts now. Well, that's it for this week. If you like what you've seen, please hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll leave you with a beast of an on the farm montage.
You reminded me of that this morning. My father, he looked on by. He passed on to the next life. Oh, we all have to face it someday. No matter if we're ready, we pray. Lord, I'm one with my soul. I'm one with the love. I'm one I am whole. Ready to return to the light. To the light. No, my soul, it can't be caught. And I'm ready to return to the light. Now your ashes free in the sunny air, the water's coming. We toast to your life. The wine it spills and you smile. Yeah, you smile.